this actually brings us to the end of the session that we had for the past 4 days. The work that we were doing for the past 4 days was actually, I can say, 5% of what this department is all about. But it is 5% of the work and the contribution, but it is where the Premier's pronouncements and the MEC budget vote and the broader look of things in as far as the priorities of the GNU is concerned, it's centralized. So it is actually challenging us as a department to say, moving from here to consolidate our strategic planning. It is by law that the MEC can always apply her mind after the end of the 60th month, that is 5 years, to redefine and restructure the department based on the need. So one of the key things that we have spotted, taking cue from the president's pronouncement on biodiversity economy. As a province, we are also challenged, and as a department, to advance the interest of the Premier to say, the first thing that the MEC must move on as part of the strategic move and the broader strategy that we are going to develop is to come up with a chief directorate that talks to all the activities that relates to biodiversity as well as environmental change. Because those are key issues that are on the spot internationally that the department must prioritize. So from the 3 days that we had, we dealt with the repealing of the act, the very old act that is still having the regulations of Buputatswana, and we had to get to that act, the Biodiversity Act. We have repealed almost quite a number of sections. The sections that we have repealed, we wanted to advance it to accommodate the new laws, the NEMA, the MEPA, and all these other regulations, but importantly, the opportunities that we can tap into to deal with the response to creation of jobs and other areas. It was indeed informative engagement, but also full of people, stakeholders from different points. We had private sector, we had people who are potential investors who says, we are here government and we want to partner with you. We have associations, including the associations of professional hunters. We have institutions of learning, your Stellenbosch. We also extended a call to our local university because we have a memorandum of understanding with the university. But we also have stakeholders coming from all points, the municipalities well represented from all points of the province, districts. We must also appreciate their commitment because it really strengthened the district development model and the strong collaboration, because that's what we need to do to consolidate the state power such that we impact on services to our people. We also had men and women who are saying, we are in the industry of biodiversity on the side of wildlife. We are in this space on ecotourism. We are in this space on community-based tourism that is informed by village or rural-based tourism and tourism around townships, as well as the broader understanding of tourism around your Hartbeespoort and other areas. But we also have close to between 40, 50 CPAs who participated in the interaction and advancing what is there for them or what they have seen as an opportunity to tap from. I was also excited to see the energy that we have actually drawn from the collaboration that we had in the form of a memorandum of understanding that we have signed with the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development, and the activation and strong participation coming from DFFE, the participation and information sharing, and an anticipated memorandum of understanding that we are going to sign between Sun Parks and through Parks, the Parks and Tourism Board. I must say that it needs men and women who are prepared to run, because this is a period of acceleration of services to our people. The Premier and Honorable MEC, my colleague, Vessels Moroeng, blessed us. The Premier became very clear that we must not be apologetic, especially in approaching radically systems that are not making our people to tap from this economy of the setup of biodiversity. So we are excited that the word of the Premier was expressed in this super pronouncement, but it's also what we have always planned for. So where we are, we have resolved the involvement of the House of Traditional Leadership, quite a number of representatives from the Khosi, and the House of Traditional Leadership is also represented by Khosi Lenji, who is serving in the interim board of the Parks and Tourism. But we were also blessed by Khosi Abakata, Khosi Nyalala. He has been with us as an elder, as a person who has got a background, especially more interest in what belongs to the people, and Bakata in particular, around this area. We are excited that we have resolved on repealing of the Act. It is going to be taken to the state law attorney, and it will now be tabled in the legislature. The public will participate, will follow all the rules, but we have also appealed with the Speaker of the legislature to run, because indeed our people are thirsty and they're just waiting for that. We have adopted the policy on game donation and transformation. That nice policy that speaks to respond to the imbalances, empowerment, and transformation. It's a policy that deals with that we are going to have its interest embedded in the memorandum of understanding that we are going to sign with rural development, because we are very clear as the province of the Northwest that our people have acquired land. Land Reform Commission has outlined the number of CPAs that have acquired their land back. But where we are seated, they have not concluded the settlement, because there are some transactions that can only be used to have the economic spin-offs activated where they are. And the Land Reform Commission is saying, we are prepared to partner with you, DDECT, because through your NWDC or through your Parks and Tourism or any other arrangement, because it is only this department that has got an arrangement of your PFMA Schedule 3C through the Parks and Tourism, your Gambling Board, and PFMA Schedule 3D through the NWDC. Also have a company of the Golden Leopard Resorts that can run their affairs in the form of company. We have resolved yesterday that the Parks and Tourism must look into simpler and quicker systems that will enable our people to tap from biodiversity, which is coupled with tourism. And therefore the board, actually, the Parks and Tourism Board, has already agreed and resolved on coming up with an advert that is going to call for potential investors to head this management companies that will run the affairs of some of our resorts and establishments that have actually reached a point of collapse, because government itself is unable, but we can always collaborate with private sector and potential investors to do that. I was also inspired by those who are there. We had quite a number of interested stakeholders coming from all points of the country and including internationally. Professional hunters who are saying, we are here And as they were outlining the flow of the economy in terms of the GDP, we even realized that to a larger extent, there's a lot of money that we can tap from hunting as a commodity, which then says within the biodiversity economy, as government, as this department, through the parks and tourism and through what the MEC has already pronounced that as a matter of urgency, using the window period of our strategic planning and the retabling of the APP, we must activate some of the indicators to stand in and be hosted in a chief directorate that will enable conservation and issues around climate change, because they are needed. As at yesterday, we are responsible to advance government, and therefore we need men and women. We also need to intensify research. We also have to reach out to our people in villages. Some of the engagements of the panels and organized commissions in the interactions are very clear to say we need land, we need the COSI, the transformation policy that we have already engaged on has got a particular portion that places, or we must bring back the integrity of the traditional leaders in our province. And therefore, the MEC has already made a commitment, and the Parks and Tourism has adopted that policy that says, let's agree on intensifying game donation with a particular clause of the policy that speaks to prioritization of the horses arona, especially where there is already either they are in the protected areas or your conservation areas. They are part of the CPAs, or at least they have infrastructure on wildlife. And so it is going to happen. The MEC has already convened a meeting with the executive, the extended executive of the Parks and Tourism tonight. Because we have to develop an action plan that speaks to implementation. They are at the fore of implementation. We spoke of a strategy of commercializing and profiling all points of the province where the biodiversity activation is. We're just about to head to the far part of Bupirima, where we have a location of the Taung skull. We're agreeing that Taung skull forms part of our heritage sites and tourism destinations rich of history. This year is a year where we will have to start to celebrate the centenary. As government, we must place it where it belongs. A Christiana resort, they must get back to tourism and parks because they deal with issues of tourism. That itself automatically will be saying we are closing what the AG is calling the incompleteness of the merger and reconfiguration on the side of environment from the erstwhile REIT and Department of Agriculture. So we are cruising very well. But in the discussions, we also had engagement with the CPAs. We're agreeing that as a department, we will not get into the space of these conflicts and instabilities of the CPAs. However, the collaboration with the land reform and the rural development and the horses arona will assist in them having to deal as part of our plan, the risk mitigating plan that has to be drawn from the MOU that we are going to sign with all these parties. Will assist us in making them reduce the instabilities, because we don't want to feed them. We want to give them an opportunity. But a very interesting story that became the cornerstone of the discussions yesterday was the issue of the existing core management contracts, as well as the long-standing lease contracts, which are 99 years old and above. And we're agreeing that there's no law that cannot be reviewed. And every existing legislation must respond to the need of our people today. The developments around where our people are staying adjacent to the protected areas or within the protected areas must be respected, that there are new occupants and every day there were changes, and therefore The existing contracts must talk to that. And that is part of what the Parks and Tourism has been given an order to implement as part of activation of the SOPA pronouncements by the Premier. And therefore, the MEC has got to sit with the board tonight and the extended management of the board to deal with the issues of getting clarity as to how are they going to review those contracts. Whether the existing contract that has got transactions has got something to do with compliance in terms of how the Act outlines how those contracts need to be crafted. But I'll not get deeper into the actualization in terms of operation, but the board is prepared to run and get the baton to where the Premier says we have to go. For people have lost hope in us. Our people are tired of us always explaining, and our people are hungry and are very poor, and yet they have acquired the land against all odds of the 1930 Land Act, but they are still not celebrating what they have. So it is our responsibility now as the 7th administration to get into the space of enterprise development, profile all the CPAs, and they have already came in numbers to the MEC to say, we're raising our hand. Just yesterday, I heard the others who are coming from Stakeholder, I think it's a CPA around the area Yakosipoi. They are saying, we're here, we've got infrastructure, MEC, go profile us. We want to start to be trained. And we're not going to do game donation like we're giving people biscuits for Christmas. No, it goes with skill development. It goes with capacity building. It goes with making them understand that the study is calling for a compliance of this nature so that we sustain what we are going to start. We are very excited that we had a number of mentors coming from, we had one of the guys who are saying, voluntarily, I have about different breeds that I can come and I can adopt some of your emerging wildlife breeders. We are also challenged by the fact that in this industry, women are in a lesser number. And when women and young people are in a lesser number, we are worried because the Premier have said if you are not talking issues of young people and women in particular, then you are not responding well to his government. So the MEC is still going to convene a conference. I was talking to the Chief Director of Tourism to say we must start to structure the issues that are there in tourism, the strategies that are existing. Let's get our community development workers. And we have agreed that tonight we must have a collective of community development workers within this industry or within the parks and tourism. They know the needs of our community. They know how to structure tourism, especially the heritage tourism, the village-based tourism, tourism that will talk to the uniqueness of Northwest in terms of the population and occupancy in as far as villages is concerned. So where we are, we ended the day with a walk. We have also realized that as much as we want to draw from biodiversity, remember in biodiversity, we take into organisms that could be plants or could be animals. And in this case, we are saying we also need to protect and preserve. Now, we have realized that there are some species that are about to finish or get endangered or extinct. Your pangolin, our people are involved in trading using the pangolin. I am told they worth close to 2 million for those who use them for medicinal use and other traditional beliefs. And as a result, this species is under attack. So we have shown out and start to say, let's do advocacy. But already there's the law that says when you are found in possession of pangolin, you can be fined 10 years imprisonment or close to a fine of 10 million. It is there we are sending that message that our people must not say they don't know. But also, we are reaching out. We went through the road here from Gauteng this village here, Tsing, because we have realized that our people have also capitalized on running after our tortoises and our chameleons, and they also sell them to the tourists as they pass by. And these tourists are taking them to their countries. And when they got there, they start now to get established because they put them on the pest shops, and there they start to weigh to worth a value which is now showing that they can collect more from our country. They have already been identified as a market by our villagers. So we went out there to say no to how they disrupt our species and no to how they would want to threaten the balance of this ecosystem. So we're confident that it went very well. Our stakeholders are very excited. And I also just have a feel that we have really worked. And next week or so, we will be consolidating the work that we have done as a department for the past 100 days. We'll be packaging per program, and we will be saying to the people of the Northwest that this is how we have committed, and within 100 days, these are the plans, these are the programs that we have done, and this is what we have achieved in terms of what we have committed. I can tell you more about the repealing of the acts, different acts, the introduction of new policies that we had, the programs that we had, including the new infusions that we are going to put in our 5-year plan. So today I was just making a summary of what transpired in the week biodiversity stakeholder engagement. So that's basically the work that we have done. Thank you.